MAGA Mike is finally surfacing after shutting down Congress, and chaos is ensuing on Capitol Hill. MAGA Mike rushed to go on state regime media, which calls itself Fox, and he oddly proclaimed that he would love to do a tattoo for Donald Trump that says the word Save America Act. He wants to do a tattoo about voter suppression. And then MAGA Mike and Donald Trump tried to get a state regime media Fox correspondent to attack Thomas Massie, and then Thomas Massie turned the tables on the guy so brilliantly, and then Thomas Massie started going on the offense against MAGA Mike and Donald Trump. You've got this MAGA civil war taking place on Capitol Hill. You've got Republicans in absolute shambles on Capitol Hill. Let me show you what's going on. So MAGA Mike rushes on state regime media Fox to Maria Bartiromo, and he's like, I told Donald, you want me to do a tattoo of Save America Act? Anything you want, Donald. Can I do a tattoo for you, Donald?
The president and I laughed about it in the Oval last week. I told him, you know, Mr. President, I don't have any tattoos, but if I did, it'd say Save America on my shoulder. Okay, we passed it 3 times in the House already. We're going to pass it again, and this time we're going to try to put it on a reconciliation bill. And the reason that's so important, Maria, as you know, is it prevents the necessity of 60 votes in the Senate. The Democrats want no part of this. And remember, this is very basic stuff. We're just going to make sure you have to have proof of citizenship to register to vote, and then show an ID when you turn out at the ballot box. These are 90-10 public opinion issues, and more than 70% of Democrats want to do it, but not the Democrats in the House and Senate. And so we've got to go around them. And I told Anna Paulina Luna and a couple other colleagues, I said, it makes no sense for us to shut down our good work in the House just because Senate Democrats refuse to do the people's will. We've got a lot more to do. We've got to keep it going.
So then MAGA Mike and Donald Trump try to have this state regime media Fox reporter attack Thomas Massie because Massie was one of the first people to fight for the release of the Epstein files, and Massie's continuing to fight for the release of the Epstein files, and that's how you are banned from MAGA now. And then so this guy was out here saying, hey, Thomas Massie, are you making, your ex-girlfriend sign NDAs because you're treating them badly? And then so Thomas Massie goes to the state regime media reporter and he goes, are you out there watching gay porn? Are you? And then the guy's like, and then the Fox host runs away because Massie asks him to try to prove a negative. And this was Trump and MAGA Mike's plan. Here, watch this for yourself.
To clear up the stuff your ex is saying about you with the NDA, that you pressured her to sign an NDA for wrongful termination. What is that true? What's she saying about you?
Who are you with?
With Fox Digital.
It's all false.
And what she said about you and Boebert having an intimate relationship?
It's all false.
Why do you think she's out there saying it? Was it because of the primary, ahead of the primary? What do you think is motivating it?
When did you all become a tabloid? Seriously, dude.
Well, no, I just thought I would give you a chance to respond because you've never been able to tell your side of the story, that's all. But anything you could say.
So let me ask you, I heard that you like gay porn. Is that true?
Congressman, I just want to give you a chance, your side.
I'm giving you a chance to give me your side.
I'm not going to get into
Are you a real news organization or not? No, come back, man. All you got to say is you don't like it, that you haven't been to those websites.
Of course I don't like it.
Really?
But thank you.
That's not what I heard.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, that was my
Just giving you a chance to respond, that's all.
And you're with Fox?
Thank you.
Is that a real news organization?
Yep.
Is this what you do for a living, man?
Congressman, we're good. Thank you.
And then you have Thomas Massie. He goes and does this interview where he's like, can you believe what MAGA Mike just said? They're acting like the elections keep on being stolen. Massie's like, look, I'm a Republican. Republicans control the House. We control the Senate. We control the White House. We control the Supreme Court. And yet I'm seeing Trump and MAGA Mike whine about elections being rigged. How could they be rigged? We control every branch right now. That's what Thomas Massie says.
I'll vote for the SAVE Act, but I think it's a distraction from our real problems. I think it's ironic that we control the House, the Senate, the Supreme Court, and the White House, and we're yelling election fraud. I mean, we won all the damn elections.
And then you have MAGA Mike Johnson back on Maria Bartiromo. And one of the things that Maria Bartiromo is like is, so how are you going to achieve everything, MAGA Mike? The Senate is not returning to Washington, D.C. until at least July 13th, because you all in the House of Representatives couldn't even pass a rule in order to start getting legislation back to the United States Senate. So the Senate said they're leaving. Donald Trump refused to sign the bipartisan housing bill. So the Senate's like, we're done. There's nothing else that we can do here. What else do you want us to do? So how are you going to get anything done, MAGA Mike? Watch what MAGA Mike says.
The Senate is gone until July 13th. They left without even a budget released. It's hard to think anything really gets done beyond that $87.6 billion supplemental for defense. Especially since the parliamentarian already said, look, you've got to prove that you're actually looking at spending cuts if you're going to put the Save America Act in there.
That's right, and we've been looking at that very carefully, and we'll send them over a provision that fits and passes the bird test, as they call it over there, with the parliamentarian. And look, I met with Leader Thune. He's a good man. He's got a big challenge on his hands, of course, and I've encouraged him to do everything possible within his power to move it. I believe he will, Maria. He understands how important that is as well. Election integrity is critical. It's central. You know, we talk about preserving the republic. You got to have free and fair elections in order to do that. And we can't allow big blue states and crooked, Democrat governors to try to steal elections away from us. And this is a very important measure, a common sense one, again, that the American people believe in and encourage and support.
You've heard us talk about OneSkin before, and whether you're someone who tries every new skincare product that hits the market, or you've been using the same one or two things for years, at some point most of us realize our skin just isn't keeping up the way it used to. That's what OneSkin changed for me. It didn't just make my existing routine better, it actually works differently than anything else I've tried. I've been using the OneSkin face moisturizer, and what stands out most is how my skin feels day after day. It's smoother, more hydrated, and it just looks healthier overall. What surprised me is that the improvement wasn't some overnight miracle. It's been the consistency over time. My skin simply looks and feels better than it did before, and that's something I've not experienced with most skincare products. As we age, some skin cells stop functioning the way they should. Longevity scientists call them zombie cells, and that's what's actually driving those visible signs of aging. OneSkin's OS1 peptide was specifically engineered to address those cells, so you're getting everything you expect from great skincare, with OS1 doing something most skincare was never built to do. And this isn't just my experience. OneSkin's results are backed by 4 peer-reviewed clinical studies, over 10,000 5-star reviews, and they've been recognized by Bloomberg as a leader in skin longevity. You really don't need a complicated routine to get healthier, younger-looking skin. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS1 peptide is proven to target visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code Meidas at oneskin.co/Meidas. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code Meidas, MEIDAS. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
And then recall last week that Donald Trump refused to sign the bipartisan housing affordability bill. Trump says that he will not sign it. He says that it will actually hurt all of his rich oligarch friends and the private equity companies and the people who own those companies that he's friends with, because they love gobbling up these single-family home and preventing first-time homeowners. Folks, this bipartisan housing bill only had 5 senators vote against it and less than 30 Congress members vote against it. You don't get much more bipartisan than having Elizabeth Warren on the Democratic side and Tim Scott on the Republican side sponsor this, to which Donald Trump last week was like, Pocahontas, because Trump is a little freaking baby. And then Trump blew up the signing. And so now the question is, what the hell is going to happen to this housing affordability bill? And I just want you to think about, you have Trump doing that while you have all these MAGAs out there attacking Zoran Mamdani, the New York City mayor, who just got the New York City Rent Stabilization Board to freeze rent prices from going up for a 2-year period, making good on the promises that he made, while Donald Trump lies about all of the promises that he made. Donald Trump said he was going to make everything more affordable on day one. And here we are, June 29th, heading into July, and things have never been more expensive. Watch what MAGA Mike says. Play this clip.
Well, I met with the president for a few hours on Thursday in the Oval Office, and we talked about it in great detail. The housing bill really is a Republican priority because it will lower housing costs. We made a lot of promises to the voters, and we're fulfilling those every single day of this Congress. And this is a big part of that because it will increase the availability, the access to more housing, bring down cost, cut regulations, do the things that we know are very important for that market. The president and I talked about that at length. Of course, he wants to do all those things. I'm going to send the bill over to him. It's passed by both chambers. I'm sending it to him on Monday, and it will become law. And I certainly want him to take the biggest, boldest marker that he has and do that big Trump signature proudly on that legislation, because we're delivering for the people, and that's what he wants to do.
So then you have a MAGA, well, not a MAGA, you have a Republican governor in Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine. He's also going after MAGA Mike Johnson and Donald Trump and their attack on immigrants, especially Haitian immigrants in Ohio, for example. And the Republican governor, Mike DeWine, there is like, guys, you realize, first and foremost, stop being like racist, and the Haitian community has been a major part of Ohio. And then DeWine says, and they're not just great people, but they're also critical to our economy. And so by you continuing to push for this mass deportation of the Haitian community, you're going to continue to cause inflation to rise, screw up the economy, and we're not going to have people who are running businesses, because the Haitian community are running thriving businesses in our state, and they've been integral to the economy of Ohio, as they have been throughout the country, as immigrants in general have been. Like, what are you doing? They're even getting called out for their hate by a Republican.
It is not in the United States' interest, certainly not in Ohio's interest, to have people who are working every single day, who are supporting a family, who are buying houses, fixing up old houses, starting businesses, and then put deep roots in this country and really are contributing, and yank them out. I mean, look at what the mayor of Springfield says. Mayor says that is a huge, huge mistake. They're contributing. Rob Rue says they're contributing greatly. Mistake to do that. I would cite also the two Ohio congressmen who have probably the most Haitians, the Republicans who have the most Haitians in their district, voted in favor of the extension of TPS. So what I would hope that the Trump administration would do is reconsider this. Look at how it's going to impact states like Ohio. In Ohio, the Haitians are working primarily in manufacturing. They're also working in the food area. But if you look at where they're working across the country, probably the most important area they're working is in healthcare. It's Haitians who many times are taking care of your mom or your dad who has Alzheimer's, taking care of family members who might be in a nursing home. And to say we're going to pull all of those out, it's just not in our own self-interest.
Yeah, we have the retirement home that my mom's in has a lot of Haitian Americans working there. And Republican Congressman Mike Lawler has talked about that, what a drain it would be on the healthcare industry in New York.
And I also just find it notable that while you have that happening, you have on the Republican side as well, you've got people like Kennedy, MAGA Republican Senator Kennedy, and he's out there, you know, doing this whole shtick that he does where he's like, you know, let me tell you about Iran. Iran is like an old man who's better hoping that he better not catch a cold, because in 60 days, we got to be all Catwoman on Iran. We got to be all Catwoman on Iran. What does that mean? What, so you want to be Catwoman on Iran? What the hell are you even talking about?
Iran right now is like a really old man who can't afford to catch a cold. We have degraded them deeply. That's why we went in. They've got three wheels down and their axle dragging. So when the press says they're holding all the cards, they're wrong. I think we should continue to do what we've been doing. If Iran wants to hit us, we hit them back twice as hard. Will this go on for 60 days? I don't know. But we shouldn't give in. No deal for me is okay. A bad deal isn't. Now, at the end of a reasonable period of time, 60 days or whatever, I think we ought to go back in, go Catwoman on them again. I think once again, we should eat them up and spit the bones on the floor. And we should adopt the Navy's plan of escorting ships through the strait.
Now contrast that to Democratic Senator John Ossoff. He was asked a basic question by Manu Raju on CNN. Listen to this discussion right here.
I think the president has earned the criticism and earned disgrace. His economic agenda is a disaster for the country. He's doubled health insurance premiums for more than 1 million Georgians. His tariffs have driven up grocery prices and the prices of just about everything else. He's been globally humiliated in Iran. Just last month, Americans faced record high prices for groceries, for health care, and for housing. This under a president who promised he would lower prices on day one. And all the while, the president and his family are enriching themselves to the tune of billions of dollars. And the president is trying to build a monument to himself. I think it's obscene. I think he's a failed president, and he's deeply unpopular in Georgia.
Similarly, you have New York City Mayor Mamdani, a Democrat. Listen to what they're talking about versus what these MAGAs are talking about. Here, listen to it for yourself.
Republicans are going to make you the poster child for the Democratic Party.
Let them. We don't have to ask ourselves what life looks like if a socialist wins. I won last November, and over the course of these last 6 months, what we've delivered for working people are the very things we were told were impossible. We've delivered free childcare for 2-year-olds for the first time in New York City history. We've delivered tens of millions of dollars back to tenants who were taken advantage of by bad landlords. We've delivered 165,000 potholes being paved. And we've done all of these things while also delivering the lowest recorded crime in our city's history. That's what it looks like to have democratic socialism. And what you're seeing is that New Yorkers experienced this for 6 months and made the decision that they wanted to see more of it on the national stage as well.
All right, now you take that and contrast that to what MAGA Republican Senator is saying over here. Roger Marshall, here, play this clip.
And this week, the housing bill that was passed by a bipartisan measure in both the House and Senate is currently stalled, and that's because President Trump has refused to sign it. I want to show you what White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt posted about the Housing Act. She said it was, quote, one of the most significant pieces of housing affordability legislation in American history. She added, promises made, promises kept. But within hours of that post, President Trump canceled the bill signing, saying that it was just of minor importance. Did President Trump break his promise when it comes to housing and affordability?
Look, this is a long book right now. I'm concerned about the cost of living right now. Under Joe Biden, we saw the cost of housing, health care, child care all go up 50%, and we're still reeling from that, but we're getting back in the game again. That America is truly back, that real wages are outpacing inflation right now. Housing is part of the puzzle, but this is classic Donald Trump negotiation style. He's going to grab every leverage point he can, and this is one to get the bigger priority to cross the finish line.
What are they even talking about? What are they even talking about? Oh, hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.